There is a growing pattern, and there have been continuous violent incidents since December of last year. The exact same ideology of radical leftism, anti-Americanism, Marxism, anti-Semitism is fueling a wave of political violence that dwarfs anything seen on the far right. Now, I want to show you the amount of violence from just the past 8 months. And when you see it all together in one place, you realize, maybe this isn't random. Maybe it's a timeline of escalation, and it is getting deadlier by the day. Let me start over here with a chalkboard. Let me just remind you that I said for years, something like, off the top of my head, socialists, anarchists, Islamists, I think I also threw a communist in there, will work together to destabilize Israel and Europe. It will spread to America, and the plan is to collapse the Western world. Sounds crazy. Let's go to the timeline of the last few months. Let's start in December 2024, December last year. This 20-something guy allegedly gunned down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, Midtown Manhattan. The killer's manifesto raged against the healthcare industry, and left-wing voices treated him like some heroic Robin Hood. According to a disturbing Emerson College poll among people between 18 and 29 years old, 41% said killing the healthcare CEO was either acceptable or somewhat acceptable. 41%. On January 27th, by the way, would we say he was a socialist or an anarchist? January 27th, let's go here. January 27th, 2025. A man carrying a Molotov cocktail or two was arrested near the U.S. Capitol, allegedly saying he planned to kill Trump-appointed Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, Defense Secretary Hegseth, and House Speaker Mike Johnson. Then we have, in February, we have the Tesla takedown. These are attacks on the vehicles and the dealerships all across, and it all started picking up traction. In March, a self-described queer scientist was arrested for allegedly firebombing the New Mexico Republican Party headquarters in Albuquerque. Graffiti that read ICE equals KKK was found on the outside of the burned building. Then we go to April 2025. We go to Pennsylvania. The governor there, Josh Shapiro, his official residence was firebombed on Passover night. The suspect allegedly set the governor's mansion on fire because of what Shapiro, who is Jewish, quote, wants to do to the Palestinian people, end quote. In May, it was the murder of two young Israeli embassy staffers who were gunned down outside the Capitol of the Jewish Museum there in Washington, D.C. The alleged killer is a 31-year-old man who allegedly shouted, "Free, free Palestine." And while being arrested, he told police he did it for Gaza. The suspect used to be a part of the Party for Socialism and Liberation, but the group claims we haven't seen him since 2017. Then we go to June. An illegal immigrant in, where is that? Here it is. An illegal immigrant from Egypt allegedly firebombed a peaceful Jewish protest in Boulder, Colorado. 8 victims were hospitalized. One of them was an 82-year-old woman. She survived the Holocaust but died of her injuries weeks later in this incident. Also in June, a pro-Palestinian activist was arrested for allegedly torching 11 vehicles in New York. June was also the month when the mobs of anti-ICE rioters unleashed their fury on the streets of Los Angeles. They smashed law enforcement vehicles with rocks, threw rocks at policemen, just keeping things mostly peaceful. Naturally, the U.S. House Democrats unanimously voted against condemning those riots in L.A. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said, quote, "We will not be lectured by extreme MAGA Republicans about questions of law and order." Then in July 7th, man shoots some officers. Rioters tried to burn down another ICE facility, assaulting police officers until the riots were broken up with tear gas and arrests. Graffiti on the side outside of the facility reads, "Kill your masters." Socialist, anarchist, Islamist. Finally, July 7th, a Michigan man opened fire on a border facility in McAllen, Texas. 2 police officers and an agent were wounded and hospitalized. U.S. Border Patrol agents returned fire, killing the subject. Sorry, said last one. It's this one, July 11th. We have more anti-ICE chaos. It erupted during a raid on a cannabis farm in Ventura, California. Activists again assaulted ICE officers and vehicles, with one protester appearing to fire shots at federal agents. All of this since December. I know that may seem like a long, long time ago, but it wasn't. We're talking the last 8 months. Murder, attempted murder, arson, vandalism, total chaos, terrorism. This is the very definition of terrorism. Socialists, anarchists, and Islamists will work together to destabilize Israel and Europe. It will spread to America, and their plan is to collapse the Western world. Wow, seems right. This is the real threat to America, not the phantoms the left has been trying to spook the nation with for decades. But they've been radicals they are enabling. They're the ones to worry about. The media enables these radicals when they amplify the hoaxes related to ICE. Here's a recent example. It involves an illegal immigrant from Mexico living in Los Angeles who faked her own kidnapping by ICE agents, claiming she was ambushed in a fast food restaurant parking lot, taken to a warehouse, and then pressured to self-deport. A GoFundMe campaign was set up. Her family and their attorneys held a press conference. But then the surveillance footage and phone records disproved her story. She's now facing federal charges. Then there's this example, a TikTok video with over 800,000 views so far, alleging this.
Guys, they're throwing the deportees out of the planes and into the ocean. No, this is not a drill. No, this is not fear-mongering. They're shackling people, flying out into open ocean and throwing them out, okay? The flight patterns, there's people tracking them on this app. The flights going out with the deportees, watching them go out to open ocean and circle back. A family in Italy saw 5 shackled bodies wash up on the shore.
What do you say? I mean, she's clearly convinced the bodies are washing up on the beach. Families can't even build sandcastles because of all the shackled bodies in the way. And then the nut jobs say, not on my watch, let's go firebomb another ICE facility, maybe a Tesla or 2. This is such a stupid hoax that even PolitiFact is like, sorry, folks, I mean, that's just not true. It's hard to believe that people could be this stupid, and yet look at the evidence that just piles up. I did a monologue on Monday about Bonhoeffer, where he said in 1943, he wrote an essay from prison and said, you know, it's the stupid people that we really have to worry about, because they've just stopped thinking. It doesn't mean you're not well educated. It just means you've allowed your thinking to be assigned over to another entity, and you're not even thinking anymore.